Welcome back to computer science classes. Topic: locking techniques for concurrency control. Session 59, which comes under chapter 9, transaction processing concept. Okay, what is meant by locking controls? Locking techniques for concurrency control. So here, the first we understand by concurrency. It refers to when multiple path execution running at the same time. It is called concurrency. What is meant by concurrency control? Only for concurrency, it refers to the when multiple path execution running at the same time is called concurrency. Once again, it refers to when multiple path execution running at the same time is called concurrency. So what is meant by concurrency control? It is a database management. So it is a database management systems, that concept that is used to address conflicts with the simultaneous accessing or altering of data that can occur with a multi-user system. It is a database management system concept that is used to address conflicts with the simultaneous accessing or altering of data that can occur with a multi-user system, that is called concurrency. So another option is there, that is called as timestamp. What is meant by timestamp here? Timestamp is a unique identifier. Timestamp is a unique identifier created by the DBMS to identify the transaction. The timestamp values are assigned in the order in which the transactions are submitted to the system. So actually, timestamp has two values. The one is called read and the second one is called write. So timestamp has two values. The one is called read and second one is called write. It has two values. One is called read and second one is called write. So that is called as timestamping. Okay, fine. Next, in locking of techniques for concurrency control, it is actually in a multi-programming environment where more than one transaction can be concurrently executed. In a multi-programming environment where more than one transaction can be concurrently executed, there exists a need of protocols to control the concurrency of transaction to ensure atomicity and isolation properties of transactions. So once again, locking techniques for concurrency control means it is in a multi-programming environment where more than one transaction can be concurrently executed. There exists a need of protocols to control the concurrency of transaction to ensure atomicity and isolation properties of transactions. Concurrency control protocols which ensure serializability of transactions are most desirable. Concurrency control protocols can be broadly divided into two categories. The one is called concurrency control protocols can be divided into two categories, or lock based on protocols and timestamp based protocols. We have two categories here. One is called log based protocols and timestamp based protocols. So what is the difference between log based and timestamp based protocols? I will discuss later. Some of the main techniques used to control concurrent execution of transactions are based on the concept of locking data items. Some of the main techniques used to control concurrent execution of transactions are based on the concept of locking data items. So here one option is there. What is lock? The lock is a variable associated with the data item that describes the status of the item with respect to possible operation. A lock is a variable associated with a data item that describes the status of the data item with respect to possible operation. So meaning of a lock, once again, a lock is a variable associated with the data item that describes the status of the item with respect to the possible operation that can be applied to it. Generally, there is one lock for each data item in the database. Locks are used as a means of synchronizing the access by concurrent transaction to the database item. So locks are used as means of synchronizing the access by concurrent transaction to the database item. Okay, log based protocols. What is meant by lock-based protocols? So, actually, the lock-based protocols are database systems which are equipped with lock-based protocols. Use mechanism by which any transaction cannot read or write data until it acquires appropriate lock on it first. Locks are of two kinds. One is called binary lock and the second one is called shared or exclusive lock. Once again, so lock-based protocols, database system which are equipped with lock-based protocols use mechanism by which our transaction cannot read or write data until it acquires appropriate lock on it first. Locks are of two kinds. One is called binary lock and second one is called shared lock. Is also called as exclusive lock. One is called binary lock and second one is called shared lock. Is nothing but exclusive lock. So what is meant by binary lock? Binary locks. A lock on data item can be in two states. In binary lock, a lock on data item can be in two states. It is either locked or unlocked. That is called as binary lock. So what is meant by binary lock? So binary lock has two status of values whose are locked or unlocked. That is called as binary lock. So in binary locking system, almost one transaction can hold a lock on a given item. A binary locking system, almost one transaction can hold lock on given item. So suppose we should allow several transactions to access the same item X. If they all access X for reading purposes only, however, if a transaction is to write an item X, it must be have exclusive access to X. It cannot be possible by binary lock. Instead of this, we are using exclusive lock. Okay, so binary lock is nothing but finally that will be divided and decayed into two status values. Those are locked or unlocked. Okay, fine. Next, binary lock values. So it can have two states or values. Actually, binary lock has two states or values. The one is called locked or unlocked. So locked is nothing but 1, unlocked is nothing but 0. A distinct lock is associated with each database item X. So a distinct lock is associated with the data item is X. The current value of lock associated with item X, denoted by lock of X. If this value is 1, item X cannot be accessed by a database operation that requests the item. If the value is 0, the item can be accessed when requested. So here binary lock operation contains some operation. So binary lock operations have some operation. So that is called as, one is called lock item, second one is called unlock items. When a transaction requests to access to an item X, it first issues a lock item of X operation. When a transaction requests to access to an item X, it first issues a lock item X operation. If lock of X is 1, the transaction is forced to wait. If lock of X is equal to 0, it is set to 1, so that this transaction locks the item and other transactions cannot access it. When the transaction is through using them item, it issues an unlock item of X operation which sets lock of X to 0 so that X may be accessed by other transaction, and a binary lock enforces mutual exclusion on the data item. So first I will taking a simple example here. Lock item X B. If lock X is equal to 0, then lock X of is equal to 1, else begin, wait until lock of X is equal to 0, and lock manager wakes up transaction go to be end. Suppose I am taking unlock item, lock of X is equal to 0. If any transactions are waiting, then wake up one of the waiting transaction. So that is called as binary lock. How we can implement the binary lock? Suppose if you want to implement binary lock, each lock can be recorded with the three fields: data item, name, lock, locking transaction. Your data item name, lock and locking transaction. So plus a queue for transaction that are waiting to access them. So totally the following are the rules to be followed by transaction in a binary locking scheme that are enforced by the lock manager. So model of the database. So one is called the operation lock item should be the operation lock item X should be issued before any read item X or write item X operations are performed in T. Second one, the operation unlock item of X should be issued after all read item of X and write item of X operations are completed in T. A lock item operation should not be issued if a transaction already holds the lock item of X. An unlock item should not issued unless it already holds the lock item. So these are the some rules and regulations of the binary operation. So because we are using three blocking operations, read lock, write lock and unlock. Read lock, write lock and unlock. Okay, so the second one is called shared lock. So second one is called shared lock or exclusive lock. What is meant by shared or exclusive lock? This type of locking mechanism differentiates lock based on their users. If a lock is acquired on data item to perform a write operation, it is exclusive lock. Shared or exclusive lock means this type of locking mechanism differentiates lock based on their users. If a lock is acquired on a data item to perform a write operation, it is exclusive lock because allowing more than one transaction to write on the same data item would lead the database into an inconsistent state. Read locks are shared because no data value is being changed. So there are four types of lock protocols available. Actually, there are four types of lock protocols are available. So before, the one is called shared lock. So it has three locking operations: shared or exclusive lock. It has three locking operations. The one is called read lock, and the second one is called write lock, and third one is called unlock. So this is called as shared lock. Okay, that method is known as shared lock. Okay, fine. So shared lock has three operations. The one is called read lock, write lock, and lock. A lock is associated within an XM item denoted as lock X can have three possible states: read lock, write lock, or unlock. The implementation of the three locking operations can be handled by maintaining lock table and keeping track of the number of transactions that were shared, read, lock on the data item of the lock table. Each record in the lock table will have four fields: data item name, lock, number of reads, locking transaction. Data item, lock, number of reads, locking transaction. For example, if lock of X is equal to unlocked, then begin lock X is equal to read locked. Number of reads of X is equal to 1, automatically that will be hand. So that it will be hand the particular information. There are four types of lock protocols available. So one is called simplistic, pre-climbing, two-phase locking. So here what is meant by simplistic and then stick two-phase locking. So here simplistic means simplistic lock based protocols allow transaction to obtain lock on every object before write operation is performed. As soon as write has been done, transactions may unlock the data item. What's meant by free climbing? Second one, in this protocol, a transaction evaluates its operation and creates a list of data items on which it needs locks. So what is meant by free? Two-phase locking is nothing but 2PL. Many locking protocols are available which indicate when a transaction may lock and unlock each of the data item. Means this locking C protocol is divided transaction execute space into three parts. In the first part, when a transaction starts executing, transaction 6 grant for locks it needs as it executes. Second part is where the transaction acquires all the locks. Transaction executes its operation, and then the third phase starts. In this phase, a transaction cannot demand for any lock but only releases the acquired locks. That is called as two-page lock. So here the problems caused by lags. So sometimes it is problems. So many problems will be caused by lags. It's nothing but deadlock or starvation. Street two-page locking. So there the first page of street 2PL is same as 2PL. After acquiring all locks in the first page, transaction continues to execute normally. But in construct to 2PL, strict 2PL does not release lock as soon as it is no more required, but it holds all locks until commit state arrive. Strict 2PL releases all locks at once commit point. Lock acquisition page, for example, release at commit T begin T end. So here problems caused by use of locks. So in this time we have two problems. One is called deadlock and the second one is called starvation. What is meant by deadlock? So here a system in a deadlock state if there is exists set of transactions set that every transaction in the set in waiting another transaction set. So deadlock situation. A deadlock is a situation in which two computer programs sharing the same resources are effectively preventing each other. Okay. In multi-process system, deadlock is a situation which arises in shared resources environment where process indefinitely waits for resource which is held by some other process, which in turn waiting to response a resource held by the some other process. For example, assume set of transaction T0, T1, T2, Tn. T0 needs a resource X to complete its best task. Resource X is held by T1 and T1 is waiting for resource Y, which is held by T2. T2 is waiting for resource Z, which is held by T0. Thus, all processes wait for each other to release resources. In this situation, none of the processes can finish their task. This situation is known as a deadlock. Deadlock is not good phenomenon for a healthy system. To keep system deadlock free, few methods can be used. In case the system is stuck because of deadlock. So how the deadlock will be prevention? Suppose if you want to prevent deadlock, a transaction lock all data items it refers before it begin execution. To prevent any deadlock situation in the system, the DBMS aggressively infects all the operations which transactions are about to execute. DBMS infects operations and analyze if they can create a deadlock situation. So there are deadlock prevention schemes which are uses a time stop ordering mechanism of transaction in order to pre-decide deadlock situation. So another wait die scheme is there. In this scheme, if a transaction requests to lock resources which is already held with conflicting lock by some other transaction. Wound wait scheme. In this scheme, if a transaction requires to lock resource which is already held with conflicting lock by some other transaction. Okay, fine. Deadlock avoidance. So here deadlock detection is there. Deadlock avoidance. Deadlock detection means in this approach deadlocks are allowed to happen. Deadlock avoidance means in this approach so many algorithms were used to avoid deadlock situation. Suppose aborting a transaction is not always practical approach. Instead, deadlock avoidance mechanisms can be used to detect any deadlock situation in advance. Methods like wait for graph are available, but for the system where transactions are light in weight and have on fewer instances of resources, in a bulky system, deadlock prevention techniques may work well. Wait for graph is there. This simplest method available on track. If a deadlock situation may arise for each transaction entered in the system, a node is created. That is called as wait for graph. The system maintains a wait for graph for every transaction, waiting for some data items held by others. System keeps locking if there is any cycle in the graph. So I will take one example, Ti and Tj. So for each transaction, when a transaction Ti requests for a lock on item, say X, which is held by some other transaction Tj. A directed edge is created from Ti to Tj. If Tj releases item X, the edge between them is dropped and Ti locks the data item. So that is called as deadlock creations and deadlock situation will be created. Fine. So actually the system is deadlock is state if there enters the informations which are available in deadlock. Okay, so it has three methods. One is called deadlock preventions, and then deadlock detection, deadlock avoidance. So deadlock occurs when each transaction T in a set of two or more transaction is waiting for some item that is locked by some other transaction T in the set. Fine. So deadlock prevention protocols are there. Wait due is there, wound wait is there, wait die scheme is there, wound wait scheme is there. So many waiting schemes are there. So cautions of deadlock detection and timeouts are there. So what is meant by starvation? The second cause is starvation. So starvation occurs when transaction cannot proceed for any indefinite period of time while other transactions in the system continue normally. Starvation occurs when a transaction cannot proceed for an definite period of time while other transactions in the system continue normally. This happens when some transactions have priority over others and there is unfair waiting scheme for locked items. Starvation can also happen when an algorithm selects the same transaction as victim repeatedly, thus causing it to abort and never finish execution. So, example 1, in a system deadlocks are occurring and a big transaction requiring a large number of locks is always selected to be aborted again and again. As a result of the transaction is never able to complete its task and this called starvation. Example 2, in a system transaction T1 has got a share level lock T2 is requesting an exclusive lock on the same item A. Transaction T3 now request for a share level lock on A and as it can be given because more than one share level lock is allowed on data object in database. It is given to T3. Serially T4, T5, etc. all request shared locks on A. Locks on A. And they are awarded the lock. Some transactions which has finished their work with A releases their locks, but A is never free for an exclusive lock. So here, so T2 is in a state starvation. The solution is to have fair waiting scheme such as using first come first served queue. First come first served queue. Transactions are enabled to lock an item in the order in which they originally requested the lock. Some transactions can have priority over others, but the priority of transaction increases when it waits longer until it eventually gets the highest priority and proceeds. The wait die and wound wait schemes can be used to avoid starvation. Suppose if you want to avoid starvation, then we can use wait die and would wait schemes can be used to avoid the starvation. So this is called as deadlock options, deadlock and starvation. These are the two phases or two uses of two problems. Okay, so in this session we're understanding so many information, locking techniques for concurrency control, and then what is meant by concurrency what is meant by concurrency control, what is meant by time stop, values of time stop, and then lock, types of lock, binary lock and shared lock or exclusive lock, and the definition of binary lock, and then explanation of shared lock or exclusive lock, and then three locking operations: read lock, write lock and unlock operation, two-phase locking operations, and then two-phase locking operations are there, and then simplistic protocols, simplistic pre-climbing, two-phase locking, and then strict two-phase locking is there, and then problems of locking is have two. One is called deadlock and starvation. What is deadlock? And then methods in deadlock prevention, deadlock detection, deadlock avoidance, and starvation. These are the brief introduction to DBMS of this session. locking techniques for concurrency control. Okay, thank you. I will see you in next